Hey everybody, it's Bob again. I just wanted to throw a video out there updating you on some of the progress I'd made on my design um, of the shelving. And I threw a design here in Inventor to just see kind of what it would look like, if it would be something that I would want to build or not. And it came out pretty well. Just for reference, this is a little bowling ball that I threw here on the shelf, so it's a pretty good size. I think, especially adding this middle support on either side, it would be pretty sturdy. And I tried to put it together in such a way that it would actually be really, really easy to take apart and put back together. Again, trying to figure out a good way of doing that, as there's a good chance that I'm going to be moving um, within the near future. So I basically tried to make this frame, at least in my drawing. Obviously, I don't have it built yet, but in the drawing here, I have kind of a recessed um, frame, I guess, on the inside, so that you could just throw these pieces of plywood on the top and possibly not even use any screws at all, which is something, depending on how warped the pieces are, you might have to throw a few screws in there, um, a couple of cross beams here, but it would be a really um, quick and easy way to put it together. And I also got an idea about putting really some bigger bolts in the side, as opposed to just drywall or like deck screws or something, drywall screws, whatever, because if you put two or three in each leg, well, do the math, two or three for each leg on each shelf. That's a lot of screws that you have to take off, and I wanted to basically have it so that pretty much anybody could take it apart without any tools. Um, and as you can see here, this I can get a view for you. The bolt head would be on the inside, and it would go through, and then have a it would be nicer to have like a knob or something, but I'm also trying to make this cost effective. So a wing nut is about 1.5 inches wide on a 3/8 inch bolt, and that seemed like that would be fairly strong. I did look at some different knobs and things. Something like this would be the best kind of a knob to get if you can afford it. Do that, because that would really make it really easy. Just have a bolt through there and just have a knob. But it's, you can imagine it was just pretty expensive. I was just looking on McMaster-Carr mainly. These wing nuts really have about the same, almost the same diameter. So as far as, ease of putting it on and being able to put it on fairly tightly, I was hoping that this is, I think, almost 1.5 inches in diameter. This is probably a little bit more, but it would be something that these are pretty cheap. And here in a second, I'll show you exactly the price. Um, so doing it this way is going to cost a little bit more, but it's not going to be too bad. And I really like the design. And essentially, it is 4 shelves, I'm saying, because on the bottom you could put some plastic containers, um, and then you'd have obviously the 3 shelves on the top. So going over here to Excel, if it's going to pull up, here we go. These are all my hand notes from earlier. The basic design, and then I made a couple of tables. I threw everything in here for my shelf that I'm going to make. If I make a shelf, all of the components that I'm going to need, all of these new components that I threw in, it's going to cost about this much. Like I said, those wing nuts are about 70 cents a piece. Pretty cheap. If you get the knob, they're a couple of dollars a piece, so it just makes it a little bit more expensive because you need so many of them. So with adding those extra components, it was going to be 130, and then again I add like 20% because you're probably going to have to pay for shipping or tax or gas or buy something else. It's always going to cost you a little bit more. So figure 150 or so is going to be the cost of making this. So, does it make sense to build my own? You know, what's on the market? Can I just buy something for that price? How do you figure that out? So, looking at the few shelves that I looked at last time, I put them down here, and so basically my shelf here is on the top, about 150 is what it's going to cost. The square footage is also important. Again, I said I'm basically counting this as 4 shelves since there's an area on the bottom. Square footage is important because you know, trying to figure out how much cost per area. So that's also important. And strength is important to me as well because I want something that's pretty durable. It's not going to fall apart. And then there's just 4 other examples that I found. Um, you know, you can just look at a cost, area, this one being the only one with a decent strength. But the cost to area is the most interesting to me because it really tells you if it's going to be effective or not. So cost for area for a very strong shelf, obviously the one I'm building, is about 1.6, dollars per square foot. This metal frame, this one actually comes close, but it's not quite as strong. You're going to pay a little bit more, and it's also just really small. Um, and the plastic one, you can buy those pretty easily at Walmart, and they're really not a bad price, but they're just, usually the shelves warp, and again, they're not very big. Um, a similar one with this metal shelf. It's not too bad, but they're just really small. If you get anything with a decent sized square footage, though, 52, that's a little bit better. Still nothing like mine, but you're going to be paying twice as much just because of the size. And again, this is a really sturdy shelf that I looked at, but if you're going to buy something fabricated, it's just going to cost you a lot of money. So I think if I can, just be careful about putting this together, take my time, it's definitely going to be cost effective. Um, if I buy, because shelving, you always need shelving. We'll probably need more here pretty soon. Build this one, and then hopefully it'll work well, and maybe build another one. But if I can build it the way that I want to, it's going to come out really nice. And I might start maybe ordering some components this weekend, and maybe as early as next week have something put together and show you some more specifics about how it's built. So, all right, well, thanks for watching, and hope that you keep in touch and keep watching my videos. Thank you. Have a good day.